Today we are talking about the S&P 500, the overall market, GameStop, and then crypto. So watch until the end of the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure to turn post notifications on. We talked about this W pattern we had in the chart and we gave it a price target. Now today the SPY is basically flat. It's chop trading. It is a rough trading day to say the least. It is bouncing between zones. We entered this liquidity grab zone that we had drawn out. We are now at 546.60 on the SPY, trading out of some resistance levels, which is a decent thing to see. We're going to talk a little bit about the volume in a second, but ultimately a target for the SPY is right around 560 in my personal opinion, based off of the pattern that we are seeing if we end up getting a nice candle outside of 548.50. If we get a candle above 548.50 and we end up closing preferably a 4-hour or daily candle, then you're likely to move up from that 548.50 to 560 in the next day or two. And that is ultimately what I see coming and what I am expecting. Now, there's no say that we are necessarily out of the woods just yet, but we have some things that we can look at. First things first, the volume. We saw this massive chunk of volume in the SPY, and now it is basically stagnant. It's back to the average volume that the SPY normally trades at, but this was after a major sell-off. So this could have marked the bottom. You can see a very similar scenario right here where we saw this volume spike, and this is when the SPY marked basically the bottom over here on the chart. And then after that, we kind of remained flat on the volume, and the SPY decided to climb back up to all-time highs, sell it before selling off even further, and then ultimately regaining its strength. So we could be trying to stand on our feet right now, but it's all going to come down to negotiations, what the Fed does. We are also seeing gold sell off a little bit here. It's actually forming a perfect head and shoulders pattern on the chart as well. So be very, very careful if you are still in gold. Like I said, this was a perfect algorithmic move on gold up to 3,500. Now, ultimately, what we would see as far as gold, this thing could sell off for a lot longer, but a rough range somewhere around 3K it could fall to, or maybe even lower. So watch those levels and be careful if you are trading gold. Now, President Trump said he spoke with China's president, and he also said the U.S. is very close to a trade deal with Japan. But then China says that the U.S. has not had any talks about tariffs. And in fact, after that, they said they're going to exempt some U.S. imports from 125% tariffs. Then Trump is saying we are doing now a 90-day pause until we come up with numbers I want, he says. Reason for 90-day pause wasn't the bond market. So he's coming out and, well, first of all, right, I want to point something out here. The market is now looking like it is not caring about, and again, this isn't political. This is just things that affect the market. The market is now not really caring what Trump says because he is saying one thing and the next day he's saying something completely different, or he says something that he said it never happened, that he never said it. So there is so much confusion in the markets. With this melt up, it's hard to say that even if we climb to 560 or 570 or 585, that we're going to be in a stable market. At any point, a catalyst could come out and we could crash way harder. And again, you also have to ask yourself, yeah, it's looking decent, but the Fed is still not really coming into dovish. And we saw Buffett, we saw CEO of JP Morgan sell off only for a 20% drawdown on the market. Now, 20% is decent, but based on the chaos and the issues that we have now, we could crash further at any moment. Now, this is important about Trump saying he's going to do a 90-day pause until we come up with the numbers he wants. Why is that important? Well, the way he says it. So it's not really a 90-day pause because he's saying we're going to do a 90-day pause until we come up with those numbers that I want to see. So the pause is only going to be into effect until he says, okay, we're good. And at any moment, he could come out, things can switch, tariffs can be back in place, markets can crash. Very simple. There's way too many things lagging in the market that we can't just forget about. Now, Google smashed earnings yesterday. They also announced a new $70 billion stock buyback on their earnings. However, they're only up 2% now. We did get this W pattern in the chart, and based off, oh my god, I don't know why I keep yawning in the videos. Based off of what the other Magnificent Seven are doing, Tesla's up almost 9%, 281.70. The market's up. Nvidia's up to 108, up 2.5%. Which ultimately I have the first price target at 111, 111.50 by today or Monday on Nvidia, and then ultimately 137, 138 in the next couple of weeks if we continue to remain bullish. A lot of things are playing out a very similar pattern. It's a strong pattern. I want to state this before I get into GameStop. The Federal Reserve announced the withdrawal of guidance for banks related to their crypto asset and dollar token activities and related changes to its expectations for these activities. This is important because this kind of just deregulates what banks do. It could be good, but it could be bad in the crypto space. So I wanted to bring this up and put that out there right now as well. Now, GameStop, this is the 1 hour chart. We're only up almost 2%. It's looking very controlled, unfortunately, but this chart looks beautiful. We are pressing up on this wall of resistance right around $28, and we are trying our hardest to get this breakout higher. If we do break $28 again, I see a very fast move up to $30.30. And I want to point that out there. And ultimately, we are just going to have to watch it based on the charts. But GameStop did announce some news. They announced their annual 2025 stockholder meeting held on June 12th, 2025. So we've seen them cut costs, close stores, and now we are seeing them possibly announce something else. Okay, what is going on at this meeting? Because shareholders have to vote on something to elect 5 directors. Basically, we have to vote on who controls GameStop's future, strategy, vision, and leadership. We have to vote on executive pay, hold management accountable, see if it's fair, reaffirm the auditor behind GameStop's financials, trust and transparency. And then obviously there could be a wild card in the meeting. A lot of new proposals or surprise announcements can happen at a meeting like this with a company, which is very, very important. If you own shares as of April 24th, you are allowed to vote at this meeting. And that is important. It's good and it's bad because we've seen, hopefully, I mean, ultimately, we hope that GameStop squeezes before this date, but we've seen a lot of institutions buy up the float on GameStop, so they are going to have a lot of voting power, and that could be a reason that they did it. That could be a reason that they went out and did that, okay, and bought those shares. Man, the yawning's pissing me off. Now, on top of that, GameStop had a buyback approved March 4th, 2019 of up to $300 million in Class A common stock with no expiration date. Now, no shares were repurchased in 2023 or 2024, and there is now a remaining authorization of 101.3 million shares, $1 million still available for buybacks, which means GameStop still has firepower to reduce the share count, potentially boosting earnings per share and squeezing shorts if used. Okay, this can come at any moment where they announce a $100 million buyback. And then on top of that, what's also important is I think the charts are very scary for short sellers because any day, at any time, at any moment, they come out and say they bought Bitcoin while Bitcoin's doing what it's doing, and we'll get into that in a second. This thing is going to fly. Now, May IV levels are approaching April 2024 levels, which is extremely low, which basically means that the premium you are paying for contracts on GameStop for call contracts or put contracts is historically somewhat low, okay, which is a good thing if you think there is a move coming forward. Now, Treehouse Brewing posted green today, green tomorrow, green every day. Shout out them. I want to jump into MicroStrategy because we talked about this when it was under $300. I said it's making its way up to $360. It's now at $365, up 4.5% today as well. MicroStrategy looks beautiful, and this is exactly what Bitcoin's chart is going to look like or should look like. Once they announce Bitcoin, once they announce the Bitcoin purchase, it's going to catch up. Okay, that's all I will say right there. Bitcoin's at 95,000, up another percent. it has broken above key levels, but realistically, 96,000 to 102 are a very important range for Bitcoin. We still have to see what it wants to do. We are seeing altcoins begin to look like they formed a bottom, like XRP here, and then Bonk as well look like it formed a bottom, got a beautiful W pattern in the chart right here, and it looks almost as if we are going to jump into an altcoin season. But you have to be very, very careful. I want you to keep an eye on Sui as well. People are forgetting about Sui. It's up almost 9%. $3.64, and this one has been performing, I would say, the best, at least from what I've seen consistently. So overall, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are you guys thinking about crypto? Are you thinking we are jumping into an altcoin season? I also want to know, if Bitcoin does break all-time highs, do you think this is a super cycle, or do you think we cap out between 116 and 136? And what will altcoins do? Are those going to break all-time highs, or are those going to cap out halfway up, and this is going to be some sort of dead cat bounce before things actually crash? Because ultimately the market is scaling up slowly, but we could see a crash at any moment, and I think crypto is likely to follow that suit. Now guys, if you're not following me over on X, make sure to go do so. We are almost at 3,000 followers over there. I do post some important stuff. Links in the description will take you to join my Discord server where we talk stocks and crypto. I post my trades in there. We have options, sweep alerts, dark pool trade alerts, insider trade alerts, market news, analyst updates, all that good stuff. It's a one-stop shop with the most amazing family in there. So get in, guys. I want to chat with you guys. And yeah, we always want new people to join the family. There are no bad questions, whether you're a beginner or advanced trader. This is the place to go. And then the futures trading account is the second link in the description. If you use my code LOTTO, you get 50% off your sim funded account, and you can take trades and take payouts. If you want to know what it looks like, this is what it looks like. Very simply, this is the interface that you trade on. But overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. And then I'm going to plug in how you can get up to 60 free stocks right at the end here. That is it. I love you all. God bless. Enjoy your weekend. Get in the Discord. Lottery Stocks out.